Now, delighted to welcome back to the show, Ian Hallard. Ian, how are you? So nice to speak to you again.
It's lovely to speak to you too. I'm very well. I'm keeping relatively cool. Hope you are too.
I am, thank you. It's air conditioned here.
Good.
I'm one of those really annoying people that loves it like this. I love the heat.
Yeah. Well, you've got to make the most of it, haven't you? I mean, who knows? This might be the coolest summer we ever have.
Oh,
For
gosh.
the future.
Yes, I know. That's all very frightening. That's why I've got to be careful that I say I enjoy it because, yes.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Ian, horseplay. Now, we're going to have to be very careful how we describe this comedy.
We are. I just double checked. I've been given the all clear by your producer that I can say the word sex dungeon on the BBC on a Sunday afternoon.
You can.
Because I explained, I said it's going to be a bit difficult to talk about the play if I can't at least say those two words.
Yes.
But I've promised it gets no more X-rated than that.
Oh, Ian, it's such a joy to speak to you. So, yes, so your play is called Horseplay. It's at the wonderful Riverside Studios, which is it's an amazing place. I actually only recently went to it since it's the refurb, and I know the refurbs happened quite not that long ago. It's amazing.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, because it's old sort of TV studios. It's got a really rich history. Doctor Who was filmed there, and yeah, it had this big refurbishment. Reopened at the end of 2019, and then something happened and got in the way, and it had to close down again for another 18 months, 2 years or so. So it's still very, very fresh and back.
Well,
which is lovely.
That's the place to go and see the play. You got a wonderful cast. The lovely David Ames, of course, from Hobby City. You've got Jake Maskell as well, and Matt Lepinskas. I mean, it's a great cast, and it takes place in a dungeon.
It does. Yeah. I mean, the cast
talk
are
about
lovely. Yeah, the cast are lovely. Obviously, David, a stalwart of Holby City, and Matt Lepinskas and Jake Maskell, both played Moons on EastEnders. Now, I'm not a regular viewer, so I didn't realise that when we were going through the casting process. So I quickly Googled a family tree to find out how they were related. And gosh, there have been a lot of Moons on that show, and I can't work out. I think they must be distant cousins of some
They're cousins.
But anyway,
yeah.
Right. But they never met on the show, so they've met in real life now. So that's lovely to unite the two of them.
Now this is a comedy.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun.
This is a comedy that you've written.
It's very much a comedy. Yes. It's a full-on. It's a farce, really. It's about a married couple, a gay married couple who decide to spice up their lives a little by booking an evening in a sex dungeon with a male escort. And then it goes horribly wrong. And before they get down to anything exciting, fate intervenes, and to hilarious effect.
So when you write a play, seeing it come to life must be both the most exciting thing, but also the most daunting thing, because you've created these characters in your head, and then suddenly they're bringing it to life. It comes off the paper. How on earth does that feel?
Well, it's a really new experience for me because I've been acting for 20 years now, but only been writing for the last couple. I literally started, the first play I wrote was in the summer of 2019. And again, just before COVID hit. So I took the pandemic really personally because it basically meant I'd started writing plays just as all the theatres closed and nobody could put them on. So this is actually, I did a Zoom play that was produced last year. And I've had a rehearsed reading, but this is my first fully staged play where we've gone through the whole audition process and rehearsals and everything. So it's really exciting and a new experience for me. I'm not used to not being in the rehearsal room every day, but I leave them to it for a bit, then I pop in and I can kind of hopefully help out and answer any questions. And I'll be around a lot more as things get nearer the time. But it's so exciting to think, God, all this stuff that I just invented in my head, I am now seeing realised in the rehearsal room. And if it's not too self-indulgent, it's still making me laugh. So hopefully
that's fantastic.
That will have a good sign for audiences as well.
Is it hard not to, because obviously with your acting head on, and as you say, you've acted for so many years now, is it hard not to do you have to bite your tongue a bit?
Not hugely, no, because our director, Andrew Beckett, is brilliant and we're really on the same page. It's been brilliant. He feels exactly the same way I do about the play and about the characters. He really gets it, and the cast really do as well. So I don't really need to. Very occasionally I'll have a suggestion, but I observe the etiquette very carefully, and I make sure I only speak when spoken to.
Now,
I know my place.
I don't. Are you happy to talk about your husband? Are we allowed to mention your husband? Is that okay?
As long as we're not talking about that in relation to sex dungeons,
No.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Ian. No, I wasn't going to go there. No, all I was going to say is that your husband, of course, is the same as you. You know, he has many hats. You're so naughty. Many hats. He's also a writer and a screenwriter, and also an actor and performer. So did that help that you had him there to ask advice of the sort of the way to go and some of the things that you might have found a bit tricky in the beginning?
Well, it was invaluable. Yeah, I mean, he's Mark Gatiss, by the way. If anyone, because you didn't, did you say who he was?
No, I didn't say that. No, I was being very careful about that. Yes,
that's all right. I don't mind mentioning. I'm not that ashamed of him, really. You know, it's not Russell T Davies or Stephen Mobb. It's one of the other ones. But no, when I started writing, because people had suggested over the years. I've done a lot of script editing. I've unofficially edited all of Mark's writing, and we talk a lot about stuff together. And a few people over the years have said, "Have you ever thought about writing something yourself?" And I thought, well, I think I've got a fairly good ear for dialogue. As an actor, you kind of know what lines feel natural to say, but I just didn't have any ideas. And then I had a couple of ideas. Okay, well, I'll try writing something. And I didn't tell Mark what it was about. I just said, I'm writing something. I'll get to the end. I'll see what I think, and then I'll let you read it. And I knew that I could trust him enough that if I did hand it over to him and he said, look, I love you dearly, but this is terrible, throw it away and never show it to another living human, then I could trust that he would do that. And I would have taken that, and that was fine. But fortunately, he didn't. He said, no, I think this is good. And so it's great to have him as a sounding board. It's very useful.
Well, I'm so pleased you just that was as far as it went with what you were going to say about lovely Mark. Do send Mark Gatiss my love, though. I adore him to pieces. So now this play, it opens on the 30th of August until the 24th of September. How do people get tickets, please?
At the Riverside Studios website, riversidestudios.co.uk, and then there are links there to theatre, but we're also on all the usual social medias at Horseplay London, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of those. So all the information is there, including rehearsal pics and sneak bits of information, and you can find out more about the show there.
Thank you so much, Ian. Always such a pleasure to speak to you, and break a leg. I hope the show goes wonderfully well. Thanks for joining me today.